want to say thank you all for allowing me to be here. This breakfast is, I was telling Fred, this is a lot more than I expected. I'm very humbled by this. I wanted to congratulate all the high school kids who were nominated. Obviously, the winner, but I think it's great that you have chosen to represent Christ at such a young age and be examples to your community, to your teammates, to all other people who know you. I mean, it's just great hearing some of the accomplishments of these young students. I was overwhelmed, and hearing some of the grade point averages and the SAT, ACT scores. I barely made it to college with my SAT score. Here, this one of the kids I think had over 1,400. That was amazing. Want to thank Fred Reich and Frank Reich and Linda Reich for honoring me with this Call to Courage Award. I'm extremely humbled that they would consider me worthy. I look around and I see some of the previous winners. I know I played with Kurt Warner and Don Davis, and I know what type of men they are. Getting to know Frank, he's a past winner. Knowing the type of men that they are. So I'm truly humbled by this. Believe me. It's been over 4 years since I've been back here in Buffalo, and it's great to be back. Getting to see a lot of familiar faces, catching up with some old friends. I had a chance to have lunch with my old neighbors, Bonnie and Chad Setchi. I don't know if they're here or not. I know they said they would be coming here. Bonnie even made me a banana bread. I think she's trying to sabotage my weight during this lockout. Like I mentioned, I have a lot of fond memories of my time here in Buffalo. Met a lot of great people, established a lot of lifelong relationships. I just came back last weekend from a golfing trip with Takeo Spice and Angelo Crowell, and I know Coach Gailey will appreciate this. Although I'm not a great golfer, I did win the majority of the skins. So, and then we played cards that evening, and I won that as well. So, I heard you mention about that. I was fortunate to be a part of the Buffalo Bills organization for 5 years. I think this is a great community. Have great fans, some of the most passionate fans, and not just in the NFL, but in all sports. Very passionate. We'd come out of practice on Friday, and you would see people already lining up to tailgate for Sunday's game, or get lathered up for Sunday's game. As some of you all can appreciate, it's kind of a unique time that we're in, a unique landscape in the NFL right now. Is everything obviously with the lockout. Coach Gailey, I see him here. Coach Weinstein, Coach Hickson and his wife. I know them from Washington, but I really can't have any. Well, they can't have any communication with me because they knocked me out. But no, it's a crazy landscape. Coach Weinstein, the inside linebacker coach, and I'll be a free agent next year, and he can't tamper with me and try to get me back here in Buffalo. But it's great. It is great to be back. Great to see these guys. I know we will have football play this year. My Washington Redskins team, and myself, will be coming back here and playing in Raffles Stadium. I'm very much looking forward to a great warm reception from and I know the Bills expect to win, but I will too. So it'll be a great game. One of the also great things about being able to play here in Buffalo was my family was able to see me play in every home game. Making the short drive from Cleveland, they were there each and every week that we played at home. So I had to foot the bill for tickets during that time. Sometimes it'd be about 30, 40 people, depending on who we played. I remember every win that we had. It wasn't as many as I would have liked to. I remember every loss. There were more than I would have liked to as well. I remember the joy that I felt with each victory, and the hurt that I felt with each loss. In fact, after one game in particular, in 2005, we had played the Carolina Panthers, and it was late in the year, and it had started snowing, so it was a tough time getting out of the parking lot. And I'm in my car, waiting to get out of the parking lot, and I almost come to tears because, I'm just feeling like, what is it going to take for us to ever get over the hump? And I was discouraged just for a moment, and then, the next week and the next day, I was back out there fighting with my teammates, feeling like, we do have what it takes to get what we need to accomplish what we want. And obviously we came up short in our goals, but I truly enjoyed playing for the Buffalo Bills, and it will always be a special place in my heart. That time playing for our owner, Mr. Wilson, who's been a part of the NFL and the AFL for I don't know how many years, 50 or 60 years, I can't recall how many, but he's a great owner, and I've met remember a lot of great people within the community as well. But what I remember most about my time here in Buffalo is a decision that I made in 2004 to follow Christ and accept Christ as my Lord and Savior. That's what I remember most. For several months that year, from the 2004, I felt God really pulling at me, asking me telling me to come to Him. But I resisted really until training camp that year, and it was after the very first Bible study that Fred had during training camp that I really excited to accept Christ and follow Christ as follow Christ and accept Him as my Lord and Savior. I don't know if what I did was considered courageous, but what I know is at that point in time was I was tired of living the life that I was living, and I was tired of feeling the way that I felt, the loneliness on the inside, the emptiness that I felt inside, and I knew that I couldn't do this alone, and I knew it was something more than what I was going through. So when I gave my life to Christ, that loneliness went away, that empty feeling went away, and I felt the fulfillment on the inside of me that I had been searching for. I spent years chasing things that I thought would bring me everlasting joy and happiness. Whether it was in my career, trying to chase Super Bowl rings. I was fortunate to be a part of a Super Bowl team in St. Louis in my second year, or chasing a multi-million-dollar contract, which I was able to achieve here in Buffalo, or new houses, cars, clothes, jewelry, whatever those things may be. I was chasing those things thinking that they would give me a sense of peace, a sense of joy. And as I achieved those things, I still felt an emptiness inside of me, and I knew that there was more to it than those things, these material things. And when I tell you, none of those things did for me what Christ did for me in an instant. And you hear people talk about when you accept Christ, how He changes you. And I was one of the, I grew up at a home where my grandmother, she had us in church for many years, and it was more of a routine to go as opposed to really having a true relationship with Christ. And I would hear people talk about, how Christ changes you, and kind of being skeptical of that. But when I felt that on the inside, it was a tremendous instant. Like I was living in a darkness for so long, and when I accepted Christ, my eyes were open. I saw differently. Just a true feeling that I felt on the inside. I wanted to shout and tell the world. I called my best friend, all my friends that that I knew, and I was telling them about Jesus Christ. And I wanted them to really experience the joy that I felt. And I'm saying, man, we've done so many things together. And, you think that's fun? This does not compare to having a relationship with Jesus Christ. One of the things. I was very nervous at first about how my newfound faith would actually affect me on the football field, and the reason being is I had always played the game with a hate, so to speak, and a rage, and felt like I had to go out and play with this anger in order to be successful on the football field. And as a Christian now, I'm thinking I can't really play with this hate, this anger, and this rage, and still be successful. And I'm the middle linebacker of the Buffalo Bills, and I'm known for being this rough and tumble and this physical, guy. How am I going to do this and serve Christ and represent Him in a manner that's pleasing to Him? To my amazement, my game actually got better. So, it's amazing. I know not only did my life improve, but my game improved. As I mentioned, I accepted Christ in training camp, and training camp is the toughest part for a football player. You're spending and coaches as well. You're spending, from 8 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night in practice, meetings, notes, things like that. But for me, I never got tired, and I would stay up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning reading the Bible because I had this tremendous thirst of just gaining more knowledge and growing in my relationship with Christ. And I would maybe have 3 or 4 hours of sleep at the most, and I never got tired during the whole training camp experience. And I would be on the field before a play, and I'd be praying to God, before a play, and it was just amazing how things just really became more like the scene in the Matrix, where everything kind of slows down. You see some of the things that happens in the Matrix, where it happens in slow motion. I would recognize plays well before everybody else, see things that I didn't feel like anybody else was seeing, and truly it was truly the grace of God that I was able to experience these things. So with that, the thirst that I had, I was so thirsty about gaining a relationship with Christ. I came to church on a Sunday here at St. John's Baptist Church. We had an off day after a preseason game. I went to church, and the pastor had talked about had anybody been baptized, and I hadn't been baptized, and then I started to go back, and I called the pastor on that next day, the Monday, like I want to get baptized, and I talked to a coach at the time, and he allowed me to take off practice the following Monday and come back to the St. John's Baptist Church here in Buffalo and get baptized. And my family was able to come, and I just really wanted to experience all that God had to give me. I didn't want to just keep my relationship with the Lord inside. I wanted to have it as an outward expression as well, and that's why I was so anxious and excited about getting baptized that following week. Walking with Christ has brought me a tremendous peace in my heart. The only thing that I regret is that I hadn't done it sooner. I wish I was like these young high school students who made the decision to accept and follow Christ at such a young age. I waited until I was 29 years old before I accepted Christ. But like I said, I wish that's the only regret that I have is not following Christ at an earlier age. I could have saved myself a lot of pain and sorrow and chasing and spending time on a lot of things that didn't mean a lot. I'm being honored here today at this breakfast with this called Courage Award. But actually, the person that's really actually called Courage is Fred Raines. And for Fred, he comes into locker rooms each and every day and tells men about Christ, invites them to Bible studies or chapel service. And most of these men, they don't want to come to Bible study. They don't want to hear about Christ. They don't want to attend chapel service. But Fred is not discouraged by any of these things. He continues to plant seeds, and sometimes Fred sees these seeds grow, and other times it's years later where he may not see it grow, but there's others who actually see these seeds grow. And I was one of them that he kept after for a couple of years and continued to try to get me to come to Bible study and those things. And I was under the mindset that I didn't want to be a hypocrite and come to the Bible studies and know I wasn't living my life the way I should have been living. But it's not saying when you come to Christ, it's not saying that you're going to be a perfect person. It's saying that I can't do this by myself. I'm a fallen person. I need help. And I wish I had come a little bit earlier and gone to that Bible study. And believe me, when Fred continued to come after me for a couple of years, I wasn't the most approachable person. I keep a smile on my face, but I'm not always the most approachable. And actually, one of my former teammates, Corey Wire, said he used to get the chills when he walked past me. And the crazy part is, I thought I was an okay person. So, it was amazing. I think Show and Kelsey, they thought I was prejudiced and things like that. Really, I couldn't even imagine that I was presented that aura to other people. But when you're living in the darkness, you don't realize this. And when I came to Christ and I started living in the light, I can see how not the prejudice part. I don't understand how they got that, but how Corey felt when he sometimes walked past me, because I was not the most approachable person. As I mentioned about Fred and his tenacity to continue to come out there after him. Once I met Fred's wife Kathy, she had told me she had been praying for me for a year. The whole year I was on her daily prayer list before she had even ever met me. And I don't know what Fred was going home telling her, or where she felt the need that I had to be on her daily prayer list for a whole year. But I thank you, Kathy. I'm glad that you're a woman that your prayers get answered by God. I truly owe this to Fred and Kathy, and about their prayers for me. What Fred has done, you made a decision many years ago to change men, to have an impact on life, to serve Christ in the capacity that changes men. And these changed men's households, their families, and generations to come after them are better now because of your commitment, Fred. You have over 27 years of commitment to this Buffalo Bills organization and serving us in this capacity. And believe me, there are a lot of men hurting on the inside of locker rooms in the NFL. They're searching for a peace. And the thing that they don't realize is the peace they're searching for, it only comes from Christ. Only comes from Christ. Amen. There are a lot of people in here today that are searching for a peace that only comes from Christ as well. And I encourage you today, if you haven't already made the decision to accept Christ as your Lord and Savior, don't hesitate. Don't be discouraged by somebody else's negativity, or you may think, well, I'm not ready to serve Christ, or I don't know what I should do to accept Christ. Just accept Christ in your heart. Admit to Him that you need Him, you're a sinner. And I'm telling you, it will be the best decision that you've ever made in your life. Believe me, I truly, I can stand this. I'm sure that people on this podium will attest to this as well. Although we share football in common, the men and women up here, the main thing that we share in common and the bond we carry for the rest of our lives is our commitment and our relationship with Jesus Christ. Amen. I'm not saying that everything is going to be perfect when you come to Christ. And Linda, no, I don't live a perfect life at all. But what I am saying is, whenever you face a circumstance or a situation that you feel is too tough or too overwhelming, the amount of confidence that you'll have regardless of that situation, and knowing that Christ is with you, you'll be able to overcome anything. And I truly encourage you in your walk with Christ. I truly encourage you to continue to strive each and every day to be an inspiration to others, to be an inspiration to your family, whether you're a father, a mother, a brother, or sister, whatever it may be an inspiration in your community, and walk with courage. And again, I'm thankful to you all for feeling that I'm worthy to accept this award. I thank Fred for having this impact, for making this impact in my life. I thank you, Kathy, for always being there for me, and my wife. Thank you all for allowing me to come back and to be a part of the community once again.